Good morning. Welcome to our June 19th Maricopa County Board of Adjustment hearing. I'm sitting in today as chair for Chairman Loper, who's not available to attend. Rosalie, would you please take the roll call?
Chairman Loper. Vice Chairperson.
Present.
Member Cardin.
Present.
Member Clapp.
Present.
Member Ward.
Present.
Chairman, we have a quorum.
Excellent. I need to read some announcements here real quick. This meeting has been noticed in accordance with Open Meeting Law ARS Section 38-431. Agendas are available within 24 hours of each meeting in the Maricopa County Planning and Development Office and are also available on the Planning and Development website 1 week prior to the hearing at www.maricopa.gov/planning. With respect to the hearing process, cases will be considered in the order they appear on the agenda unless otherwise agreed to by the board. For each case, the applicant will give a set amount of time to present their testimony. Any witness wishing to give testimony on a particular case shall notify the board of such interest. This shall be done by filling out a speaker card for in-person attendance. You can get these up here, or registering your desire to comment as noted on the published agenda. Also, at the appropriate time for each case, the chairman will ask those attending in person and online who wish to speak to a case to raise their hand by clicking on that icon on the webinar screen. We do have a pretty long agenda today, so I'll ask that our speakers try to keep their comments pretty short. Staff will provide the chairman with names of persons who have registered and noted desire to comment and those registered participants who have raised their hand. I do already have a list of 6, so if there are others, now you know what to do. The chairman will call on each named participant one at a time. Such testimony shall be limited to a maximum of 3 minutes. However, the actual amount of time allowed for testimony shall be at the discretion of the board chair. The chairman will conduct the hybrid in-person and virtual public hearing according to the bylaws and according to the rules established by the chairman regarding public comment. Votes will be done by roll call vote only. The chairman will verbally identify the specific members responsible for all motions and seconds. So with that, we need to approve the minutes from the May 15th hearing. Are there any comments to those? Seeing none, they're approved, right? We don't have to take a vote on that. And then we have a few announcements. Darren, I'll turn that over to you.
Yes, Madam Chair, item 2, DA 250015 is being continued to July 17th. There's no action necessary by
No
the
vote
board.
for that? Okay. And then, this is still showing the minutes on these announcements from last time. So that's why it's saying number 1 was withdrawn, but that was last month's. Okay, great. So with that, can we continue on to the first item? We've got case BA 250002 that will be presented by Joseph.
Thank you, Chair, members of the board. BA 250002 is for the Thompson property. The subject site is located in the Apache Junction area, north of the northwest corner of Meridian and Apache Trail. It is within the R5 zoning district and is approximately 35,000 square feet in size. The applicant is proposing an increase in rear yard coverage up to 64%, where 30% is the maximum allowed per the ordinance. The request is for a proposed 7,200 square foot detached accessory structure to be located on the western portion of the property in the rear of the residence. Staff was unable to identify a peculiar condition of the property, as it is a regular rectangular shape, exceeds minimum zoning district standards, and is devoid of any unusual or remarkable geographical features that would inhibit reasonable use of the property. If the board finds the applicant has satisfied the statutory test and has stated its findings on the record, the granting of this variance will memorialize a maximum allowed coverage of 64%, rear yard coverage, excuse me, of 64% for APN 65003U. I'm happy to answer any questions at this time.
Thank you, Joseph. Are there any questions of staff? Okay, hearing none, we'll go ahead and open the public hearing. Is the applicant here? Thank you. Please make your way to the podium and state your name and address for the record and then continue with your
Okay.
presentation.
I'm Anthony Thompson. I am the owner of 52 North Meridian.
I'm not sure if your mic is working. Are you guys able to hear? Sorry to interrupt you.
I'm Anthony Thompson.
Good job.
I'm going to bend over a little more, it might help. I am owner of 52 North Meridian.
Yes, you can proceed with your presentation. Thank you.
I'm just hoping the board will see that the little bit difference in that we're asking for the variance in size, shouldn't really be any kind of an eyesore to the neighborhood. It's borders a back of a general commercial shopping center, an apartment complex to the north, and it would just make better use. I'd be able to make better use of the land, being able to put that size of building on it.
Thank you. Are there any questions of our speaker? Okay, thank you. Sit tight. We're going to see if there are any, I don't have any people up here that wish to speak. Are there any in the audience that would like to speak on this case? Or any registered online?
Nobody online wishing
Okay,
to speak.
thank you. Well, with that, I'll close the public hearing and open it up to the board members for discussion. This is in District 2.
Question.
Yes, ma'am.
The existing structure, is that residential?
Correct, yes.
And what will be the use of the new structure?
It'll be residential. It'll just be to house stuff indoors, RV, play toys like, I have off-road stuff that we use, and as well as some little bit of shop equipment.
The pictures that I've seen of your property shows a lot of equipment outside that doesn't seem to be related to residential. So could you explain that?
We had some of that parked there during remodeling. There is a few pieces of equipment there currently, correct, yes. And those would be, if those aren't removed, they will be indoors in this facility. That's what I want to do. I'll put everything indoors.
Why is the structure so large compared to the residents on the property? 7,200 square feet is a very large
Yeah, I have,
structure for this particular piece of property.
it's just to be able to make use of it. I have a lot of equipment. I have a 30-foot fifth wheel I want to put indoors. I have off-road equipment like, Polaris Rangers. I have other equipment I want to store indoors. I have a skid steer and some stuff. I just don't want it in the hot sun. If I can store it indoors, it just gets it out of the weather.
Are there any commercial uses on the property?
No.
Thank you. Any other questions? Member Cardin, Member Ward? Thanks. I agree with Member Clapp. It does seem rather large. I understand you have all those things. Given where the property is in the surrounding area, I'm not super concerned about it, but it's not in my district. So open to a motion from another board member.
I am concerned about the size of this building because it really appears to be more likely to be used for some sort of commercial use. It seems excessively large for residential property. So my concerns here are, could you reduce the size of it?
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm here I asked for the max, obviously. If you guys are going to tell me that it has to be less, then I'm just asking you to tell me what I can put there.
Well,
I don't,
I think you have two options here. You can either reduce the size of this structure, in my mind, even though the surrounding property might be able to handle a structure this large, or you could consider making this a rezoned commercial property because it just appears to be more commercial than residential. But if you were to reduce the property, then I would, at least if you look at one of the graphics I saw, shows a portion of the structure in the rear yard setback of 2,400 square feet. And I would propose that you reduce this accessory structure by 2,400 square feet to make it 4,800 square feet rather than 7,200 square feet. That would be my suggestion, but I'd like to hear from the rest of the board.
Yeah, I wasn't reading this that it was within the setback, but rather they were saying that this is the part back here where it's 64%. The orange square on the one graphic is the 64%. So that part is needing to be 30%. So I don't know if you would have to reduce it by 2,400 square feet, if I'm reading that correctly, Joseph,
Well,
to get to the 30%.
Explain that graphic to me. Does this say it's extending into the rear setback? 2,400 square feet?
Yes, Member Clapp and Chairman Person. So the structure in the proposed location does encroach into the rear yard setback. Accessory structures are permitted to be within the rear setback area up to 30% of that required rear yard. The proposed structure and the proposed location covers 64% of that rear yard, which is why the need for the variance exists.
And if it were 4,800 square feet, what would be the percentage coverage of the property?
Member Clapp, it depends where the structure would be located. Presumably a smaller structure would be able to be further away from the rear lot line. It's important to also consider the overall lot coverage of the property.
Right.
It still accommodates the size of the structure. The only issue is that rear yard setback area. So presumably a reoriented design may be able to alleviate this issue.
Yeah, if you wouldn't mind putting up that graphic with the orange square.
But you don't know-
Not that one. There's another one with an orange square.
But you don't know what the percentage of
Rectangle.
the coverage would be if it was reduced to, say, 4,800 square feet.
Member Clapp, it would likely be under that 30%. It just depends where the structure is located.
Yeah, I mean, obviously they can make whatever dimensions they want. It's just that
This one.
appears to me to be very large for the property.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
Member Clapp, I guess one question that I think you're getting at is there's a lot we don't have the overhead for it, but that what you're looking at on page 3 of the staff report, it shows a large building, the western edge of which is colored orange. That's what's encroaching into the rear yard.
Right.
I guess the question would be if they move this building, if the gentleman were to move this building, say 10 feet further west, closer to the primary building, the house, would that reduce him to where he's 30% within the required rear yard if he was only a few feet from the?
I don't think it's.
Okay,
Are you saying it's not possible to move it?
that's what Joseph's thinking.
Okay.
I don't know if we could defer to the applicant.
Yeah, so I think there's two options and where you're going with Darren. And I'm looking at this. I don't know if you
Yeah,
have that,
I don't
but
have that,
it
but
looks to me like the area that we're talking about, the 64%, is this orange rectangle, which is 2,400 square feet. So
that actually is a shed that was put up by the previous owners, and I'm actually planning on tearing that down. It's
okay.
It's got a real, I mean, I'm a tall guy and it's a real short
You
ceiling.
can't get in there. Oh, there, thank you. Yeah, so regardless, but I think this is showing that the 7,200 that you're proposing, 2,400 square feet of it is equating to 64% coverage in that rear yard. So if you cut that 2,400 in half, you're pretty darn close to the 30% threshold, right?
Okay.
And then if you cut that orange part in half and scooted the new structure just a little tiny bit closer to your main structure, I think you could maybe get to a point where you don't need the variance.
Oh, nice. So that would involve, looking at this, that would involve taking off part of that, the shed part of the back, that's on the
Yes.
back of the house, right? Remove that and then move it closer to the home.
Yeah.
and it would be within
I
reason.
mean, this is me like doing math on the fly, which could be a bad idea, but I think, and I can't read all the dimensions despite my glasses, but I think if you've got the long rectangle, if you made that half as tall, for lack of a better word,
Okay,
then you're basically at 32%. And then if you took the whole bigger structure and scooted it a little tiny bit east, you may be able to then pull a little bit more of it out and you would be
Okay.
under the 30%. So I'm wondering if we should consider it rather than denying it or continuing to talk about it, continuing it so that you can look at this.
I would gladly do that if
Okay.
that's what it requires to get this done. I mean,
Okay.
because that little building's not really of use to me. I plan on taking it down anyways. So if it's part,
Great.
if it'll make this pass where I can.
Well, and then you may not even need it. So I think that, if one of you guys wants to go ahead and make that motion, it seems like a smart thing for you so we don't have to create more challenges.
I think there were others that wanted to speak, and I don't want to
Okay.
interrupt that, but I think that's a reasonable solution to continue this so that you can redraw this property so that you aren't getting into this problem of 64% coverage on the lot.
So the building would essentially be the same size, just reconfigured by and eliminating that
can
little
do
back
that,
part,
yes.
correct? Okay, that works.
Well,
So my motion would be to continue this case until the next meeting in July.
Would I go ahead and talk with Joseph on resubmitting
Yes.
plans and
do we have a second for that motion?
Second.
Thank you, Ferd. Rosalie, will you please take roll call vote?
Member Cardin,
Yes.
Member Clapp,
Yes.
Member Ward,
Yes.
Chairperson.
Yes.
Chair, we have a motion for a motion for a continuance by a vote of 4-0.
Thank you. And we may or may not see you next month if you're able to resolve it and not have to come
Okay.
back before us. Appreciate
All
your
right.
flexibility.
all right, well, thank you for taking the time.
Thanks. So number 2 was continued, as Darren mentioned. So we're going to skip over that. We're going to go to number 3, TU 250020. Daniel, take
Yes.
it away.
Madam Chair,
Yes,
if I could real quickly, one announcement that
of course.
make at the end. This is Joseph Mueller's last time with us here at the BOA. He's moving to
Oh.
be the senior planner at City of Buckeye.
Well, I'm really sad, but I do work in Buckeye too. So I hope that I'll cross paths with you there and have really enjoyed working with you. Thank you so much. Best of luck.
Thank you,
Thanks.
Joseph.
Okay, let's continue with number 3 while they're resolving that. Thank you, Daniel.
Thank you, Chair, members of the board. Case TU 250020, Red Hot Fireworks 2025. It's a request for temporary seasonal sales of fireworks for the July 5th holiday. The site is located at 812 East Carefree Highway in the Phoenix area, and would be on the western half of the 5-acre parcel. Staff did not find, I'm sorry, the reason why this application is being heard in front of the Board of Adjustment is that staff received one memo of opposition from a registered area of interest. That area of interest the comment appears to be a person representing the personal opinion from the area of interest rather than representing the Desert Hills Land Trust. As what the opposed is registered as. Otherwise, the staff did not receive any other further opposition after posting of the site. The applicant has ran this would be the 8th request for the similar use, and so the applicant has run the seasonal sales successfully in the past, and staff has no issues with recommending approval. I'll be
Thank
happy
you,
to answer any
Daniel.
questions. Thank you.
Any questions for Daniel? Okay, hearing none, we'll go ahead and open the public hearing. Is the applicant present here or online?
Chairwoman, she's online. Just
Trying to connect.
need to unmute her.
Thank you.
So she's self-muted. So Joanna, we need you to unmute on your end, please.
No luck.
Madam Chair, I guess we could ask her.
Okay, there we go. There we go. I'm here. Sorry about that.
Thank you. Yes, please state your name and address for the record, and then you can proceed with your presentation.
Absolutely. My name is Joanna Noriega. I'm the Chief Operating Officer for Red Hot Fireworks. Did you want the address of the location?
I think just your address.
Sure. Our business address is 1620 East Country Lane, Gilbert, Arizona, 85298.
Thank you. You can go ahead.
Our first slide here just goes into deep detail in regards to our narrative and what we do throughout the season. We actually do a short-term seasonal temporary sales. We do have a signed lease from the landowner, as well as we get a liability insurance for $1 million for the owner, as well as Maricopa County. We've been at this location for quite some years. Basically have had no issues running fireworks sales at this location. Next slide. Our next slide goes into detailed description of laws and regulations that we abide by during our season. We basically run everything and make sure everything's legal based on the laws in Arizona. Kind of goes into deep detail in regards to consumer fireworks regarding this slide. Next slide. Yep, keep going. Perfect. This slide goes into depth regarding consumer fireworks classification. The state firework bill basically states that we could only sell novelties, toy smoke, and safe and sane, which we abide by, making sure that we do not sell anything that explodes or goes in the air. Next slide. If you can see number 1 on the maps location, and as you can see, there are other chains and other places that do sell consumer fireworks the same as we do. Fry's Food, Walmart, Target, Safeway, Albertsons, and many more that also sell in parking lots and around the valley. Go ahead and with the next slide. Slide goes over that we will be utilizing the entrance on Carefree Highway. We will be using and accessing the same entrance that the storage company uses. That's the only little bit of change, is that we will be accessing that entrance and exit compared to how we have been prior. It's just a bit easier to access in and out through that access right next to the storage. Let's see. All right, next. This slide shows that we've been approved by Daisy Mountain Fire Department. Here's our fireworks sales permit for the duration of our season. Basically, they're approving that we follow all fire department rules and regulations, confirming that we use fire extinguishers, that we have a water canister on site. So that is our approval from the Daisy Mountain Fire Department. Next slide. This basically goes into a little bit of detail in regards to our mission and who we are. We have successfully and safely sold consumer fireworks to Arizona for over 16 years. It's our mission to sell safe and sane and abide by laws and regulations of Arizona when it comes to selling fireworks. Go ahead with next slide. We are a small family-run business that follows laws here in Arizona while trying to make a living. This is our last slide, and I appreciate your guys' time and the board for letting us present. And thank you so much.
Thank you. Are there any questions of the applicant by the board? Okay, seeing none, are there any people here in the audience or online that wish to speak?
Nobody else online indicating they'd like to speak.
Okay, thank you. So we'll go ahead and close the public hearing. I'll turn it over to the board. This is in District 3, which is my district, but I'm happy to hear any comments from the rest of the board. Member Cardin.
Chairman Person, I'd be happy to make a motion for approval, as that's how I feel, unless you'd like to engage any other further discussion.
I'm not seeing you. Do you like to speak?
I'm seconding it unless
Oh,
you want.
okay. Yeah, why don't you make the formal motion and then we'll go from there.
I move that we approve TU 250020.
Second.
Rosalie, would you please take a roll call vote?
Member Cardin,
Yes.
Member Clapp,
Yes.
Member Ward,
Yes.
Chairperson.
Yes.
Chair, we have a motion for an approval by a vote of 4-0.
Great, thank you. Happy early 4th of July. All right, we will move on to case number 4, BA 250021, the Alanich property variance, and Joel is going to walk us through that one.
Chairperson, members of the board, BA 250021 is a variance request for a property on Titan Court in Sun City West. This request for a variance to the rear setback requirement. The standard in Sun City West is 25 feet. They're proposing 15 feet. The site is located at the end of a cul-de-sac at the eastern boundary of Sun City West. Remains as originally platted with no significant alterations. This is coming to us as a result of an HOA requirement that states that accessory structures must be attached to the primary structure. If detached, the proposed structure would comply with all setback requirements. With that said, Maricopa County does not enforce HOA architectural or design standards. Therefore, no peculiar condition exists on the property that would prevent them from being in compliance with existing county zoning regulations. The variance is being solely sought due to the HOA preference and not due to site constraints. At this time, I'm happy to answer your questions.
Thank you, Joel. I have a question if there are no others. So you mentioned the HOA requirement that the county is not bound by, but so the applicant is locating the structure where they are because of an HOA requirement?
Chairperson, that's correct.
Okay, thank you for clarifying. Okay.
Madam Chair, just for clarification, they're not, I don't believe they're locating it based on an HOA requirement. They're connecting it to the primary structure because of an HOA requirement.
Okay, thank you. So if it were detached, then we would be dealing with different setback requirements.
Chairperson, that's correct.
Okay.
Or attached in a different location.
Understood. Thank you. Are there any other questions for Joel? All right, we'll go ahead and open the public hearing. Is the applicant or applicant's representative here or online to speak? Not here.
I'm not seeing anybody online indicating they'd like to speak as well.
Okay. Seems to me we should probably continue this so that we can hear what they have to say. Does someone want to make a motion to do that unless you have another option?
Now, I move we continue BA 250021 to the designated July meeting. What is it? July 17th.
Second by member Cardin. Rosalie, will you please take the roll call vote?
Member Cardin,
Yes.
Member Clapp,
Yes.
Member Ward,
Yes.
Chairperson.
Yes,
Here we have a motion for a continuance by a vote of 4-0.
thank you. Thanks, Joel. All right, we are moving on now to case number 5, BA 250025, the Sunset Cove Investments LLC property. And this one is back to Daniel.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Members of the board, BA 250025 is a request for maximum lot coverage of 28%, where 25% is the maximum permitted for the zoning ordinance. The location is 3902 West Kayenta Trail in the Levine area. The request is, the applicant seeks to permit a 12,084 square foot primary residence along, and this includes 2 accessory structures, one of which would be an accessory dwelling unit, connected by a, pardon my French, a porte cochere, and that would be the request for that as well. So there is no peculiar condition facing the lot at this time. Nothing prevents reasonable development of the lot. The lot is fairly flat. No, in fact, there has been a McDOT reduction as well along the eastern side for the future right-of-way. So there is plenty of space, and the applicant did not indicate or provide a peculiar condition that faces the lot. Happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Can you please point out on this slide, I'm having a hard time seeing it because it's small, but where the, oh, it's a lot coverage, so it's not a setback. That's why.
That's right.
Okay, thank you. Are there any other questions for Daniel? Okay, hearing none, we'll go ahead and open the public hearing. Is the applicant or applicant's representative here or online?
I have Chris McCarty online. There you go, Chris. Go ahead.
All right, thank you guys. Basically, we're trying to build our personal house. I live in the neighborhood. Our problem is the ADU in the house. We're just trying to do a porte-cochere that connects the two. And by doing that, because it's got a solid roof, I go over my lot coverage. It's really just for the look of the house. It looks better with that there. It connects shade for the ADU unit. So I'm just trying to get a little bit more coverage. It's actually 27.5% versus 28 than what was on the paper. But yeah, it's the porte-cochere that's creating the issue. The rest of the house is within the parameters of Maricopa County, and it fits in the neighborhood because I live in this neighborhood as well currently.
Thank you, Mr. McCarty. Are there any questions by board members? Thank you. Is there anyone else registered online or in the audience that would like to speak on this item? Okay, seeing none, I'm going to go ahead and close the public hearing and turn it over to the board. This is in District 5.
I know the area well, thank you. And that's a beautiful home you've got. I have no problem at all with approving this variance. And so with that, I would like to make a motion to approve number BA 250025 and establish a maximum lot coverage of 28% for APN 300-81-016K.
Thank you, Member Ward. Member Cardin, is that a second? Okay, there's like some miming going on, so I wanted to check. Okay, we've got a motion and a second to approve. Rosalie, will you please take the roll call vote?
Member Cardin,
Yes.
Member Clapp,
Yes.
Member Ward,
Yes, and I'm anxious to see the end result.
Chairperson.
Yes.
Chair, we have a motion for an approval by a vote of 4-0.
Great. Thank you, Rosalie. Thank you, Daniel. All right, moving on. Case number 6, BA 250027, the Chavez property, presented by Nick.
Thank you, Chairperson, members of the board. Case BA 250027 is a request for a variance to permit a lot width of 136 feet on parcel 300-11039A, where 145 feet is the minimum permitted in the rural 43 zoning district. The substandard lot width resulted from poor lot splitting practice with an unregulated land division circa 1985. The sibling parcel to the west has since been developed, whereas the subject parcel has remained vacant since the lot split. However, historic aerial photographs have shown grading on site as early as the 1970s, with dirt stockpiles appearing as early as the 1990s. A code violation was opened on site in 2021 due to citizen complaint shortly after the current owners purchased the lot. Now, the owners are proposing to build a single-family residence on site, and if the board approves this request, development of a residence would likely resolve the violation, as the grading and drainage work required would likely eliminate the stockpiles, though at any rate, they would need to be addressed with any issued building permit. That having been said, staff is unable to identify a peculiar condition facing the property. It's rectangular in shape, gentle in slope, and not encumbered by hillside or areas of floodplain. Staff is unable to identify an undue hardship created by the zoning ordinance. The substandard width was avoidable, and the need for variance could have been avoided had more care been taken when splitting the parent parcel. Worth noting, though, is that according to the owner, he had contacted the owner of the sibling parcel to the west regarding the possibility of purchasing its easternmost 15 feet. That would have brought the lot width of the subject site to about 151 feet, which would have negated the need for variance, and the sibling parcel still would have met lot width requirements. However, according to the owner, the other owner, the one of the sibling parcel, was unwilling to sell any land, hence why they came in for this variance request. So with that, if the board finds the applicant has satisfied the statutory test and has stated its findings on the record, the grant of this variance will memorialize item A. Variance approval establishes a 136-foot lot width for APN 300-11039A. At this time, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Nick. Any questions of Nick? I just want to clarify, our only action is the variance for the lot width, nothing to do with the grading violation.
Chairperson, that is correct.
Thank you. With that, I'll go ahead and open the public hearing. Is the applicant or applicant's representative here or online?
I am online.
Excellent. Please state your name for the record, and then you can proceed with your presentation.
My name is Manuel Chavez, and I live at 6126 South 64th Drive in Laveen. Well, like Nick just explained, we just need a variance so we can build a home. Like he did mention, I have tried buying, actually I gave a couple of options. I say 15 feet, and I say, well, give me 10 feet. He actually has a block fence at 11 feet from what's our property line that he's already not using. And he still say no. I offered, I think, way more than what I should have, but just to avoid all this conflict. And he's just, he insisted no. Even though he was the person liable for this bad split. With that said, I mean, this is my only option, and yeah, we just want to build a home, and we need this variance. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chavez. Are there any questions of our speaker? Hearing none, hang tight in case we have more questions. Is there anyone else here or online that wishes to speak about this case?
Nobody else online indicating they'd like to speak.
Thank you, Nadia. Okay, we'll go ahead and close the public hearing. I'll turn it over to the board. This is in District 5.
Thank you, Madam Chairwoman. This one as well. I move that we approve BA 250027, memorializing a variance approval of 136-foot lot width for APN 300-11-039A.
Thank you, Member Ward. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Member Clapp. Rosalie, will you please take the roll call vote?
Member Cardin,
Yes.
Member Clapp,
Yes.
Member Ward,
Yes.
Chairperson.
Yes.
Here we have a motion for an approval by a vote of 4-0.
Excellent. Thank you. Best of luck, Mr. Chavez. We will now move on to case number 7, BA 250028, the Biolanti property. And we are back to Daniel, who I have to say is the most sustainable of all of us, because look, he is bringing his phone and reading it instead of the reams of paper. So thank you.
I appreciate that, Madam Chair. Case BA 250028, the Biolanti property is located at 8427 North 192nd Avenue in the Waddell area. The proposal for this case is a proposed maximum lot coverage of 64.66%, where 40% is the maximum allowed, and a proposed grading and construction of a pool barrier outside of the lot's development envelope where otherwise prohibited. The site is located in the Sonoran Ridge Estates Unit 2 recorded plat with a plat note that's severely restricts the buildable area and disturbances outside of the building envelope. That is plat note number 7, and this is due to manage offsite flows for the rest of the subdivision. The original permitting for the primary residence also included those drainage mitigation efforts with a riprap along the southern edge of the property to manage those flows. But this request would be for an additional disturbances related to pool barrier and the pool construction, along with some finishing of decomposed granite in the front yard. There isn't apart from the lot being in a floodplain, since the property already received a building permit for the primary residence, for this application, staff didn't find a peculiar condition facing the property for this new construction of the pool and the pool barrier. Be happy to answer questions.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, just to add,
Yes, please.
the variance request is not to vary the plat note requirement. It's the Rule 43 RUPD, which includes the plat notes, but they're also part of the RUPD.
Thanks for clarifying that. Any questions for Daniel or Darren? All right, I will go ahead and open the public hearing. Do we have the applicant or applicant's representative here or online? Oh, good morning. Please state your name and address for the record, and then.
Good morning. My name is Francisco Badilla. My address is 285 West Pecan Place, Tempe, Arizona. Is it there? Can you hear me now? No. Okay. My name is Francisco Badilla, and my address is 285 West Pecan Place, Tempe, Arizona.
Thank you. You can proceed with your presentation.
Okay.
Or whatever you want to share.
I had a PowerPoint. Is it available or no? Okay. Yeah, slides number 1 is actually just shows where the property is located and the existing improvements that are around there. Slide 2. Same thing, just a better close-up. As you can see, the property is located within. Okay, as you can see, the property is located with a floodplain, okay, which requires a very special erosion protection because it's right next to the floodway. The floodway is actually the red and the floodplain is the blue. Here I took some pictures and at different locations at the property corners. And also I highlighted the disturbance area and the riprap area, as well as where the homeowner association requested that we actually landscape that area. And there's a table there. Go back. there's a table there, but it's pretty hard to see where actually I highlighted or put a quantity to the disturbed area. For example, the riprap, the also the DG placement, which shows percentages. Next. This is actually the northwest corner looking east. As you can see, all that DG is actually being considered a disturbed area, which the homeowner association requested to place it there. Also as well, if you're looking south where the back of curb is, it's also DG, which the homeowner requested, the association requested to be placed to make it look good, to enhance the property. Next. This is the northeast corner of the property. If you're looking, sorry about that. Okay, it's good now. Okay, that was actually in the north, which one, north? Okay, yeah, the northeast property, the northeast corner of the property, as you can looking south, is you can actually see the fence on the right-hand side, which is actually a raw iron fence, and also disturbed area that was previously disturbed by a road there and during the construction of the fence. If you look west, you look towards the street, it's also disturbed, but we're actually planning to revegetate all that area to make it natural again. This is southeast corner. There you actually just view it from a different side. The left picture shows disturbed area based due to the raw iron fence. And then if you look west, you can actually see DG that was placed as well as the riprap to protect the residents. Next. Southwest corner of the property, if you look toward the north, you can actually see the placement of the GD requested by association. And then if you look east, you can see the 20-foot wide riprap that was placed to protect the property based on the flows. That riprap is pretty much 20 feet wide, 8 feet deep. It's pretty much the equivalent of some gabions. It's, you know, it's less expensive than gabions for erosion protection. That's why it was okay. So it's not very, you know, economic to put it there. And the size of the rock was approximately, the medium size was 2 feet. So it's pretty good work done there. Next. This is just my closest slide. As you can see where the property is, and then highlighted in red, there's another residence there, which apparently exceeds the 40%. You know, I'm not putting the finger on them, but pretty much, if you can see that property also exceeds probably the 40%. Also, if you look at it, it has DG up in front to enhance the property, also same color. And next, that's it. That's it. So right now, what we actually want the requested percentage. Okay, if I cannot get it, I probably can reduce it if I remove the existing DG that was placed based on the homeowner association request, and I can re-veg that area, and I can gain about, based on the table, I think I can get around 8%. You know, I can actually give back around 8%. the other option that I can actually do, if you actually consider the riprap as gabions, I mean, that's 10%. So if instead of the 50, instead of the 64, it comes down to 54. And I can actually do a little bit to reduce it, but I'm requesting the entire area, and there's no hardscape. It's only DG that's been placed. So it's actually very easy to remove, very to replace with natural vegetation.
Thank you. Are
Questions?
there any questions for Mr. Badia? Seeing none, are there any other folks here in the audience or online that would like to speak?
No one else online indicating they'd like to speak.
Okay, thank you. Hang tight, we might have additional questions for you. I'm going to go ahead and close the public hearing and turn it over to the board. This is in District 4, which I believe is Chairman Loper's district, and he's not here. Do the rest of you have any of you have comments or questions? Member Cardin?
No questions. I just, it looks like the applicant here is really taking care of the property and aware of all the various concerns. And I would move that we approve BA 250028.
Thank you. We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Member Clapp. Rosalie, will you please take the roll call vote?
Member Cardin,
Yes.
Member Clapp,
Yes.
Member Ward,
Yes.
Chairperson.
Yes.
Here we have a motion for an approval by a vote of 4-0.
Thank you. Best of luck, Mr. Badia.
Thank you.
We will now move on to case number 8, TU 250028, Phantom 10 at Fry's on Daisy Mountain, and Nick.
Thank you, Chairperson, members of the board. Case TU 250028 is a request to allow a temporary fireworks sales tent on parcel 20305-989 in the C2 CUPD zoning district. The parcel corresponds with a Fry's Signature grocery store and its parking lot located at the northeast corner of Daisy Mountain Drive and Gaviline Peak Parkway in Anthem. Setup is scheduled to begin tomorrow, June 20th. Sales would begin on June 26th and end on July 5th. The tent would be removed within 10 days. For the duration of the temporary use, hours of operation would be from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. daily. At least 2 staff or as many as 5 would be on site during hours, and merchandise would be securely kept in a metal storage container overnight or otherwise when not being sold. During the posting period, staff did receive one item of opposition expressing concern that the tent might exacerbate traffic congestion, with additional concern that the site's proximity to nearby schools could increase the odds of fireworks getting into the wrong hands. The opposed party proposed the possibility of limiting the tent's operating hours and establishing age limits for consumers. Nevertheless, staff believes that the applicant has satisfied the MCZO requirements for seasonal sales, and furthermore, the request does not differ substantially from similar requests that are commonly approved in the county prior to the 4th of July. So with that, staff recommends approval of TU 250028 subject to conditions A through E as outlined in the staff report. At this time, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Nick. Any questions of Nick? Seeing none, I'll go ahead and open the public hearing. Is the applicant here or online to speak?
Yeah, I'm online. My name is Joey Witter. I'm the regional manager for Phantom Fireworks. Address is P.O. Box 160421 in Clearfield, Utah. And I'd just like to say it's really nothing new to the area or the neighborhood. I think to address the concerns, the tents in a placement that doesn't affect the traffic flow and the fire department's requirement of a perimeter on each side. We have the exits on the sides to make sure nobody's walking into traffic or anything like that for safety reasons. And our footprint's much smaller than some of the others in the county at this location, but I feel like we're taking up one of the more minimal spots of the parking lot, and it shouldn't be an issue as far as traffic flow goes. With regards to the safety, obviously we want our children and everybody safe in the neighborhood, but the statute does have a limitation on purchases for anybody under 16. So you have to be 16 or older to purchase any legal fireworks in the state of Arizona anyhow. So I think that will be adhered to. in addition to our additional safety standards that we place inside of our locations for all of our consumers. You know, our deal is that one firework injury is too much. Unfortunately, most of the fireworks injuries tend to be stupidity driven, lack of common sense type of stuff. But when used properly and safely, I think, you know, it's a relatively safe deal, and I don't have any concerns that, you know, the fireworks are going to get in hands of young children, no matter what hours we're open, et cetera. But yeah, and I'm open to any questions if the board has any questions for me.
Thank you, Mr. Witter. Any questions, the board? I'm not seeing any. Are there any other folks here or online that wish to speak?
No one else online indicating they'd wish to speak.
Okay, thank you, Nadia. With that, I'm going to go ahead and close the public hearing and turn it over to the board. This one is in District 3, which is my district. Apparently I get all the firework cases today. I have no issues with this. I just want to make sure that I'm not leaving out any other feedback from the rest of you. Member Cardin?
No other feedback, but would you like me to make a motion?
Go for it.
I move that we approve TU 250028.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Great. Seconded by Member Clapp. Rosalie, please take the roll call vote.
Member Cardin,
Yes.
Member Clapp,
Yes.
Member Ward,
Yes.
Chairperson.
Yes.
Chair, we have a motion for an approval by a vote of 4-0.
Thank you, Rosalie. Best of luck, Mr. Witter. We will now move on to number 9, BA 250031, the Bender residence, and Martin.
Good morning, members of the board. This is variance BA 250031 for the Bender property. This is a request for a proposed west side setback of 0 feet, where 5 feet is the minimum permitted in the R3 zoning district. There's another request for the proposed south rear yard setback of 8 feet, where 20 feet is the minimum permitted in the R3 zoning district. And then there's a proposed lot coverage of 70%, where 65% is the maximum permitted in the R3 RUPD zoning district, where this site is at. And this site is located in the Rio Verde area, one of the original town sites right next to the city center area on the display right there. All right, so the applicant is proposing to add a new golf cart garage, storage room, and small open trellis patio cover on the west side of the existing residence. To accomplish this, the applicant is requesting to eliminate the 5-foot wide west side yard setback of the lot. Another request is to memorialize the encroachment of the existing rear patio cover into the lot's rear yard, which was from the required 20 feet to 8 feet that was built before January 1st, 2000. Apparently, it looked like it might have been done right after the subdivision was platted, in probably around 1978 or 79. On that. With the proposed home additions on this parcel, the total lot coverage increases from 60% to 70%. The property owner is requesting an additional variance request to increase the maximum lot coverage to 70%. Now, within this RUPD, since they're very small lots, the actual lot coverage is not 60, it's 65%, which is a difference of 5% from the zoning ordinance has it on there. So based upon what the applicant has submitted and staff analysis of the report, staff offers the following observations. The lot is small, with only the western part of the lot inside the required side yard, or the southern portion of the lot inside the required rear yard, as the only viable options for expansion of the home's footprint. The lot is located next to a 15-foot wide landscape tract that's next to another lot with 5-foot side yard. Even with the elimination of the west side yard, there is still 20 feet between the two homes, with a 15 feet of undevelopable land in between. Thus, eliminating the lot's side yard would create a minimal impact to the neighborhood of attached dwelling units. The lot is located adjacent to a golf course to the south, and the existing attached patio of the home has been there since the home was built in the early 1980s, probably like 78, 79, 80. And so reducing the rear yard to 8 feet would not be noticeable nor negatively impact the surrounding area. The increase of lot yard coverage would hardly be noticeable to the neighborhood since there is an undevelopable landscape track, an open golf course, and a wide landscape street in front of the home. That's would also provide a bit large buffer on there. And according to the applicant, the community's HOA is in favor of the proposal. It meets their architectural design standards, and they're approving that on that part. And based upon what the applicant has submitted and staff's analysis in the report, staff offers the following positive and negative observation to the board may consider in their final vote of this request. And this concludes staff's presentation. Thank you, members of the board.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Any questions of staff? All right, seeing none, we'll go ahead and open the public hearing. Is the applicant or applicant's representative here or online?
Hi, this is Rick and Tammy Bender of 25446 Danny Lane. We're excited for our project. Currently, we have 14 houses on our block that were originally made with carports, and currently we are down to only 3 that are open carports. So this is a part of a carport and expansion with our golf cart and storage unit that we and our community are looking forward to achieve to beautify this road. As Martin said, we are across the street from our brand new community coffee shop and everything. So so this is kind of a beautification of the neighborhood. Other than that, I think we are open for questions.
Excellent, thank you. Any questions for Mr. Bender? All right, I'm not seeing any right now, but hang tight in case we have some. Is there anyone else here or online that wishes to speak on this item?
No one else online indicating they'd wish to speak.
Thank you. All right, with that, I'll go ahead and close the public hearing, open up to the board. This is in District 2.
Appears to me that this is a reasonable request from the resident to do all the changes that they plan at this property. So my inclination would be to approve, but I'll wait and see if there's any other comments from the board.
Not seeing any.
Then I will make a motion to approve BA 250031.
Yeah. And it looks like we've got another mimed in second from Member Cardin. So Rosalie, will you please take roll call vote?
Member Cardin,
Yes.
Member Clapp,
Yes.
Member Ward,
Yes.
Chairperson.
Yes.
Chair, we have a motion for an approval by a vote of 4-0.
Excellent. Enjoy your new golf cart garage. All right, we are now on to number 10, case BA 250032, the Obregon property, and Daniel.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the board. BA 250032, the Obregon property is located at 19819 West Clarendon Avenue in the Buckeye area. The site is 44,069 square feet, and the request is an increase in rear lot coverage of 50%, where 30% is the maximum allowed per the zoning ordinance. The applicant is requesting an overall rear lot coverage of 50% for construction of a 3-bay RV garage and an attached ADU. The structure sits back about 10 feet from the rear property line. However, the proposed location of the RV garage takes up too much of that rear yard, and so the request the request is to increase that percentage for the rear lot coverage. I think, but yeah, that should be it. If you have any other questions, please let me know. Thank you.
Thank you, Daniel. Any questions of Daniel? All right, we'll go ahead and open the public hearing. Is the applicant or applicant's representative here? Great. Come on down to the podium, state your name and address for the record, and then you can proceed.
Hello, my name is Herbie Obregon. The address is 19819 West Clarendon Ave in Buckeye, Arizona. And I'm here just to request for a variance to be able to build our personal residence and that location of that rear garage to be able to stay at the 10 feet. They originally asked us to move it forward closer to the house, but we're trying to obtain the maximum yard space in between the residence and the garage. So that's why we're applying for the variance.
Thank you. Are there any questions for Mr. Obregon? I'm not seeing any. Hang tight in case there are more. Is there anyone else online or here that wishes to speak?
No one else online indicating they'd like to speak.
Thank you. So with that, we'll close the public hearing and turn it over to the board. This one is in District 4, which is in Chairman Loper's district. Are there any comments from the rest of the board? Member Cardin.
My only comment is I'm just looking at the area and it looks like that there's other similar structures in backyards like this and not seeing any opposition. I feel like this one would be okay. So I would move that we approve BA 250032.
Thank you, Member Cardin. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, Member Clapp. Rosalie, will you please take the roll call vote?
Member Cardin,
Yes.
Member Clapp,
Yes.
Member Ward,
Yes.
Chairperson.
Yes.
Chair, we have a motion for an approval by a vote of 4-0.
Thank you. Best of luck,
Thank you very much.
Daniel. We'll move on to number 11, case BA 250034, the Brown property variance, and Joel.
Chairperson, members of the board, BA 250034 is a request for a variance to a front setback requirement for an attached garage. What's required in the zoning district is 20. They're proposing 11 feet. This site is located at the end of a cul-de-sac with the bulb at the front of the parcel pushing setbacks inward. With that said, it is in the Rio Verde subdivision. The lot remains as originally platted with no significant alterations since its development. This is going to be for an attached garage that will front an existing golf cart garage. The applicant states that no other place on the lot they have no other place on the lot where they can expand this garage. With that said, there does not appear to be a peculiar condition that prevents compliance with the county zoning regulations. It appears the variance is sought solely due to preference, although one can argue the bulb of the lot does limit site development at the front setback. With that, staff's available to answer any questions.
Thank you, Joel. Any questions of Joel? Okay, seeing none, we'll go ahead and open the public hearing. Is the applicant here? Great. Please state your name and address for the record and then proceed.
Jay Brown, 18948 East Waxwing Drive, Rio Verde. Thank you, Madam Chairman. I was reading through the report, and for the life of me, I couldn't get my arms around some of the comments. And it hit me late yesterday afternoon, and I apologize to Joel because it was late in the day. I couldn't get a hold of him. While this says it's a one-car garage, it's actually a golf cart garage. What I'm doing is pulling forward my existing golf cart garage. I'm an avid woodworker. And right now I share my shop with my golf cart, my golf clubs, and my bikes, and my whatever my wife throws in there. So I'm actually just pulling forward my golf cart garage. So there'll be no cars there. In fact, I joked with, you can tell from the size, it's 14.5 feet deep on the outside dimensions. So when it's finished, it's 13.5 feet. So for the fun of it, I went out and I measured my little grocery getter last night, and it's 15 feet deep, my car. So I told my wife, I said, I think you could get it in there once, but you'd never get it out. So it's truly a golf cart garage. So I'm really just trying to make space to my woodworking shop has to stay where the golf cart garage is, because the golf cart garage has to be forward, obviously for ingress and egress. I would note in the report, it also did talk about the need, the zoning requirement for 2 spaces off the street. That stays intact because I have a double garage, so that stays intact. And as I noted there, our HOA does not allow overnight parking outside anyway, so you have to put your vehicles in. So that kind of goes in conjunction with that. So it's I apologize that we're that it's labeled as a one-car garage. It was never intended to be that.
Thank you
That's all.
for
Thank you.
clarifying. Appreciate that. Any comments or questions for Mr. Brown? Member Clapp.
Yeah, thank you. I sat and looked at this last night and kept trying to figure out why you were building it this way. And thinking, is he not just going to extend the garage that's behind it? So you clarified it for me, and I really appreciate that, because that was the only thing I was really puzzling over, is what your plan was here.
Yeah.
So appreciate your comments. That
Thank
really
you.
clears up my concerns about the garage.
It's actually almost within 10 square feet, square footage wise of my golf cart garage. Is just shaped a little different.
Yeah, I
but,
kept trying to figure out how big of a garage you would need for a golf cart versus a car, and
yeah.
so you've clarified it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other comments or questions? Great. What about there's no other speakers here online, anyone?
No one else online indicating they wish to speak.
Thank you. You can have a seat. We'll let you know if we have any other questions. I'll go ahead and close the public hearing and turn it over to the board. This is in District 2.
Yeah, I understand what the property owner is trying to do here. I think it is fine according to his plans, and I would move to approve BA 250034.
Okay, thank you. Second by Member Cardin. Rosalie, will you please take the roll call vote?
Member Cardin,
Yes.
Member Clapp,
Yes.
Member Ward,
Yes.
Chairperson.
Yes.
Here we have a motion for an approval by a vote of 4-0.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Brown. Good luck. All right, and we are on to our last case. Andrew's been sitting so patiently. Case BA 250037, Lord Shade Company, and we'll turn it over to you, Andrew.
Thank you, Chair and members of the board. BA 250037 is a request to amend the rear yard setback to 17 feet from 20 feet, which is required by a previously approved RUPD overlay on an 8,241 square foot parcel in the R16 RUPD zoning district of Sun City West. The request is intended to allow the construction of an attached shade awning structure to the rear of the home. The structure covers approximately 144 square feet at 16 by 9 in size. Staff cannot identify any requirement of the ordinance that, when it's applied to the particular condition, has created an unnecessary hardship. Staff would like to note, however, that this request is due to the attached nature of the awning, which, if constructed in the same location using the same materials, would not need additional entitlement if it was a freestanding structure. Thank you for your time. At this point, I would be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Appreciate that. Are there any questions for Andrew? Okay, hearing none, we'll go ahead and open the public hearing. Is the applicant or applicant's representative online?
Yes, we are here. Thank you, chair members and persons of the board. This is Travis Martin speaking in regards to BA 250037. I am the project coordinator with Sonoran Shade, and I am here with the homeowner, Mr. Sean Lord, at the project property location of 13345 West Junipero Drive in Portobello Country Club. We are proposing to install this solid alumawood style insulated roof patio cover project with the dimensions that Andrew listed as 9 feet projection by 16 feet wide, totaling 144 square feet. This would make the total lot coverage 33%. We have supplied Andrew with the HOA approval letter approving this patio cover project, as they maintain a 10-foot rear building setback. And yeah, I've got the homeowner here. If you have any questions, we would like to open it up to questions from any of the members. And we thank you for your time and consideration of approving this project.
Thank you, Travis. I do have one question. So in the report, it says that you cannot construct it as a detached structure with 4 posts. Can you just elaborate on that a little bit, please?
Yeah, the footings that would be required per the engineering code of these structures would be too large to put them next to the house.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Are there any other questions of our speaker? I'm not seeing any. Are there any people registered online that would like to speak, Nadia?
No one else online.
Okay, thank you. I'll go ahead and close the public hearing. We'll turn it over to the board for discussion. This is in District 4, which is Member Loper's or Chairman Loper's district. I don't have any issues with this, but want to be sensitive to other thoughts. Any other feedback? Okay. Well, I'll entertain a motion if someone is willing to do that. Member Cardin?
I move that we approve BA 250037.
Thank you. We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Member Clapp. Yeah, Member Ward, you guys are tying every time. We have a motion and a second. Would you please take a roll call vote, Rosalie?
Member Cardin,
Yes.
Member Clapp,
Yes.
Member Ward,
Yes.
Chairperson.
Yes.
Chair, we have a motion for an approval by a vote of 4-0.
Great. Thank you. Best of luck with your new awning. That looks like it concludes our agenda for today, unless there's any other things that we need to discuss. All right. Well, appreciate you all. Hope you're staying cool out there. Thank you guys in the back for keeping us safe, and happy summer.